Because I have a new string to my bow in my portfolio since I've last seen you, and of course that's women's economic security. Now we know that during COVID that women were disproportionately affected by the COVID-19 economic crisis, but the good news is as the economy has come back, women's economic prosperity has actually vaulted forward. In fact, of the 70,700 new jobs that were created last month, over 55,000 of those went to women, around 78%. And indeed, we've seen the highest participation rate of women in the workforce than ever before, around 61.8%. So this is all really good news. What this means is that the support that we've given for businesses, whether it be through tax incentives or business incentives, incentives to hire, to invest and to employ, tax incentives, personal tax incentives through your income tax, skills training, all of this is beginning to manifest and to vault female economic prosperity forward. But economic security is a different matter. We know that women's economic security is driven by two things: the gender pay gap, and closing that gender pay gap, and also increasing women's participation rate in the workforce. So I'm really excited to have this new part of my portfolio, and that's certainly what I'll be working towards. Watch this space, there's more to come.
All right, we will. Claire, you're focusing on, well, it's been another interesting week for the vaccine rollout, and part of this has caught your attention.
Yeah, interesting is a good euphemism there. I think we all know there are some extraordinarily significant problems in the vaccine rollout in Australia, but I wanted to focus today on one of the things that I think is most egregiously concerning about this rollout, and that is what is happening in aged care, which is my portfolio responsibility. I visited an aged care home last week. That was one of the Victorian homes that was hard hit by COVID. They lost a lot of residents during the really serious outbreak that we had here in Victoria. They have had twice been told that they're going to get vaccinated. They've twice got all their residents ready to have that sort of anxious experience, and no one has turned up, and they've had to essentially reschedule. So on the third occasion, they were finally able to get their first jabs. But I want to just highlight, Tom, the very significant problem we have here about aged care staff. There are almost 350,000 Australians who work in aged care. They're working with some of the most vulnerable people in the country. And while we are seeing this rollout across aged care residents limp along bit by bit, there is no current plan for vaccinating aged care staff. Now, what a ridiculously silly thing to do, to vaccinate aged care residents and leave their staff without the protection of a vaccine. When I talk to the staff in these homes, especially who went through that COVID period, like these are predominantly women who were not able to eat dinner with their families, who actually went home terrified every night because they thought they were going to bring a virus home to the people that they loved around them. And this is the way that we treat them in the aftermath of what they went through. It's completely unjust, and the government has to come forward with a clear plan for how it's going to assist these workers.